we're going to talk about circles. As you might remember from middle school or possibly Algebra 1, circles have diameter and radius. So the radius goes from the center to the outside, and the diameter goes all the way across. So it's basically two radii put together in a perfectly straight line. There's two main formulas we use when we work with circles, circumference and area. Circumference's formula is pi times diameter. That's the same thing as 2 times pi times the radius, or 2 pi r. So again, circumference is like perimeter, so that's this outside amount. It's like a fence going around a circular yard. Our other important formula is area, pi r squared. So pi times the radius again. And that's the inside stuff, like the grass inside the yard. So radius, diameter, our two formulas. Here's our first example. Suppose the radius is 9 centimeters. We want to find the area and the circumference. I'm going to start by giving myself a quick sketch here. So there's my little rough circle. There's my radius. It's going to be 9 centimeters. In other words, r equals 9. So I'm going to go ahead now and find the area first. So area, remember, is pi r squared. R is 9. So pi times 9 squared. 9 squared is 81. So our answer is going to be 81 pi. So area equals 81 pi is a perfectly fine answer. If you're told to round, I'll show you what that looks like. So again, if they don't specify anything, leave your answer like this. Don't bother working with the pi. But if they say to round, you could do 81 times pi. I'm going to convert it to the decimal, and I'm going to go out probably 2 decimal places. So again, it depends on what your question asks for. If I'm asked to go out 2 decimal places, I'll go 254.47. So again, 469, that 9 rounds the 6 up to a 7. So I'm going to make a note down here. If I round to 2 decimal places, what I'm going to get is area is approximately 254.47. I'm going to go ahead and block all this stuff off. Let's do the same thing for circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. Slide this up here. So C equals 2 pi r. And remember my r is 9. So this is 2 times pi times 9. In other words, 18 pi. And we're going to go ahead and do the rounding also. And again, I'm doing that way you guys have an example of what I'm looking for. If I don't specify rounding, leave it with pi. But if you are asked to round, I want to make sure you see how to do it. So round to 2 decimal places. C will be approximately, let's go see what that is. So 18 pi, 56.55. I think it's again that 8 rounds the 4 up to a 5. So 56.55. And as I look at this here, I realize that I forgot something. I forgot to use units. So let's go back and fill those in. This stuff up here was area. That's units squared. Our units were centimeters, so I have centimeters squared. Centimeters squared. Circumference is like perimeter, so those are just regular centimeters. No squaring. Let me go ahead and go through here and block this section off. Okay, that's one example of area and circumference. Let me go ahead and put up another example. In this question, we're told that the circumference is 26 meters. Based on that information, let's backtrack to find the radius and then to find the area. So we're going to start with the knowledge that circumference is 2 pi r, and we know that 26 equals that. So 26 equals 2 pi r. Remember, pi is actually a number. Pi is 3.14 blah, blah, blah. It is a number. You're not solving for that. You're solving for r. Notice then that what I have is 2 times pi times r. To get r by itself, divide both sides by 2 pi. I've done that so that these 2 pi's simplify. They cancel out. On this side, I have 26 divided by 2. That's going to get me 13. Pi is on the bottom. So 13 divided by pi, that is going to be our value of r. Now, let's suppose I ask you to round. So if round, r will be approximately, let's go ahead and get out a calculator, 13 divided by pi, 4.14. So if I'm rounding, r is roughly 4.14, and the units are in meters. Let me go ahead and block that stuff off right here. Let's go ahead now and find the area. So area equals pi r squared, and we just found r. And for this, I'm going to use this version because I want to keep exact values as long as possible. Remember, this is rounded. This is exact. So area equals pi r squared. Remember, r squared is 13 over pi squared. This can be rewritten as pi over 1 times, now 13 squared, that's 169. On the bottom, I have pi squared. So again, I said 13 squared is 169, pi squared, well, that's my pi squared. Now, notice here that I have a pi up top and pi squared on the bottom. Let's go ahead and simplify that part. If I divide this by pi and that by pi, I'm left with 169 divided by pi. Divided by pi. So, your exact answer is 169 divided by pi. And if we round, let's go ahead and see what that value is. 169 divided by pi, 53.79. So 53.79. And we are looking at area right now. So these units are meters squared. So meters squared, meters squared. Told that the area is 100 pi feet squared. We want to find the radius and the circumference. Remember that area is pi r squared. So we have 100 pi equals pi r squared. Our job is to solve for r. So let's go ahead and divide pi on both sides. Notice that these pi's are gone and those pi's are gone. We're left with 100 equals r squared. Well, a radius is a form of distance from the center to the outside of a circle. So when I take the square root of both sides, I'm going to use positive 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So the radius is 10. And again, to get that, what I just did is I took the square root of both sides. And we only use the positive because radius is distance. So r is 10. That's 10 feet. Let's go ahead now and find circumference. Remember that c equals 2 pi r. So c equals 2 times pi times 10. So C equals 20 pi, and this is in feet. And if you wish to round, so again, let's make a note. If rounding, let's go ahead and type that in. 20 times pi will be 62.83. So C would be approximately 62.83 feet. So as long as you know what your radius is, you can find area, you can find circumference. Remember that both of those formulas are sitting right up top here.